brought a small clip from the students, from the white students of the world, that what did they felt when they were entering this their college. So let's see this.
माइंड टेस्ट क्या हुआ?
I was excited. I would say nervous. Anxious. I was very anxious.
Excited.
Lost. I felt pretty lost when I first entered here at UNLV.
I was excited at first, being the first person in my family. I was a little nervous to start off, but getting into college, there was more freedom. So it was different. A lot different from high school, where it's already kind of all set up for you. Have your application processes,
It's more you don't really have teachers. You have this many assignments. You need to get to work. But in college, it's like everything. I would say to be prepared. Unexpected. A lot of things happen that away from home most of the time. It's
Yeah, first of all, I would like to request everybody to please go on mute, because the whole emotion goes into vain if we hear a lot of noise.
All the participants are requested to kindly put your audios on mute. On your screen, extreme left, you will have an icon which is like a mic. Kindly click on it. You will see a red cross line. There,
Okay. So in this video, just the video just we saw right now, we have heard about a lot of words like excited, nervous, and freedom. So I'm sure you all also are thinking about all these terms right now, because we are in this phase. There are few people who are very excited, but at the same time they're nervous. You have a lot of things which will be unexpected for you when you enter your new phase of life. So what we do is, we come to the challenges that you are facing in your time when you will be entering the college. So let's acknowledge these challenges. First question is, when you enter a college, the first question that comes without any voice is that what have you brought to the table? I'm sure you have brought a college brand with you, that you are coming from certain college, you have your certain culture, you have a certain way of working, you have everything in your mind right now. The second thing that you are bringing to the college is you have your credentials in place. You might be a very bright student, you might be not so bright student, and you might be also a dull student. But this is your time where you take the opportunity. I can again hear some voice. Okay, so you can take the opportunity in this transition. You can. Okay, someone is not. Anyways.
Mr. Arman Bose, Mr. Arman Bose, you are requested to immediately mute your mic. Otherwise, we will be forced to make you leave the meeting. Mr. Arman Bose, this is specifically for you.
Okay, so coming back to the thing that what have you brought to the table? I talk about credentials, I talk about your mindset, and the third thing is you also have a lot of expectations from the college. That when I'm going to enter the college, this is going to happen or that is going to happen. So yeah, we all, when we enter the college, we have these things in mind. Moving ahead, the grass is greener on the other side. Yeah, that is true. I'm sure you all, have some options in your mind when we enter the college. And then this feeling is there in everybody's mind that I wish I would have, chosen the another college which I left. So that is completely fine. The need of the hour is that you make the best use of the place where you are. Whatever don't just worry about what we say that I wish I had the other college. And why is that option, why is that problem in your mind? Because also there are too many options. So if we talk about the demography of India, the average age of an Indian is 29 years, and all over the world everybody is looking at us for the lot of jobs. And why is that? Because 3 crore, can you imagine, more than 3 crore students are passing out 10th and 12th examinations every year. So, and there are 993 universities, and every university has a big amount of admissions. So there are too many options. So obviously, the previous slide where I was telling about the grass is greener on the other side, it's that dilemma is there. That dilemma, that self doubt is always there. So it's okay if you're having that feeling, it's completely fine, just stay with it. The next thing is, the next challenge when we talk about is, it's a transparent world. Everybody is having a social media presence, but the challenge is, do we know that the person who are telling them that I am like this on social media is the person on in real like that? So be very careful about that as well. This is the third challenge that we face. The fourth challenge is, everything is on the go. Like everything is just a click far away from you. So that is also a boon. Plus also this is a problem. Why is this a problem? Because what happens is that anything that you are claiming or saying goes on the record, and anybody can search about it in seconds, and can understand that what that was true or false. So be very careful about it. The next challenge is this is the most important challenge, especially for Indian students, because we are very much inspired by one industry, and that is the film industry. And that is this is something which we have in our mind. We see a hell lot of movies, and we get inspired, and we start thinking about that my college life is something of gonna be like this. So few things they hold true, agreed, but few things are not true as well. So just don't come with these kind of expectations in your mind that all that I'm going to live a life of student of the year or somewhat of that side. It's not true actually. If we talk about the best of the best colleges also, they're also not seeing this life what is being depicted on the screen. Moving ahead, the next challenge is the academic changes. When I talk about academic changes, it means the method in which you were learning is completely changed. When we talk about the colleges, the teacher used to come, they used to teach, and we used to highly depend on our teachers. But now you cannot count your teachers as an accountable person about what is there in your examination. See, in colleges, we have universities. So the person who is teaching you in the class is not the person who is actually setting your paper. So you have to understand this difference very carefully in your mind from the very first semester. And the resources of your studies are not just limited to internet, to your books, and to the teachers. It has a little more vision, because we talk about there are a lot of webinars, seminars, there are a lot of workshops, there are a lot of practical projects. All this and many more things are there which inspire the whole way of education in your colleges. So you have to keep all those things in your mind, and you cannot just ask your teacher to be the only person who is responsible about how you are being in your examination. Moving ahead, after academic changes, the next thing is something which none of the other person has faced, and only you are going to face. So for that, I have of all the very best, because amidst coronavirus, this challenge is there in each of our lives. But the worst part is that you are having this challenge when you are also seeing another transition in your life, that is entering your life. So I don't think so that any expert can, tell you that how your life will change after, this coronavirus, that how do you will actually physically interact the way we were there in our colleges, whether you will be there or not. So this remains, a closed packet, which is yet to be opened by you all only. And you, but my suggestion is that you all be, the best of whatever is coming. Take it as a challenge, because you are setting a history for the generations to come. You are setting a benchmark for the generations to come. Whatever you do now, you will be called a batch which has faced the coronavirus, and how had they, faced this particular challenge in their life. So and this becomes a story for you to tell in your entire life कि जब हम 12th में गए थे या जब हम college में enter किए थे, then coronavirus time was there and how did we face it. So this is again a big challenge. The next thing is everything is on the cloud. Whatever you are doing is everything is getting recorded. The colleges are also on the cloud. You never know that, your first day on your school in your college might be the day on when you're again, peeping in the camera and looking and facing on the camera. We cannot claim anything, because we can just pray to God that everything becomes normal for you all to enter the college. So these are some of the challenges which we have faced, which everybody faces apart from the coronavirus thing, and you are also going to face in your life. So if you have these kind of doubts, so it's completely fine. Those doubts are there with everyone. You know, the next is, with these doubts and challenges in your mind, I have some quick tips for you that you can, keep in your mind when you enter your college. So again, what Parul has told you about, I'm again repeating that I have covered like 25,000 plus students, have an interaction with them, and I have, a complete picture that how a student thinks when they are in the college. My major interaction was with the college students, so I feel myself, very capable of telling you these tips. So be very attentive in what I am going to tell you right now. So when we talk about the transition from school to college, I always tell everyone that this is your time where, you are not, what we say, nobody is judging you on the basis of your previous life. This is a chance for you where you can, show a transformation in your entire life, in your entire self. First thing is, if you haven't been doing this, study smart. There is no, what we say, a good thing that studying very hard and not being able to get results. This happens if you're not studying very smart. Just see what things is really required, because now you're not studying only for mark sheets and all. Now you're studying also for your career, for your job in future. So you have to keep that thing in mind, that I am not studying to, for getting some credentials and, improving my mark sheet. You are working over here to get your resume up to date. So study smart. That is the first tip that I would like to give you. The second tip is, if you might be traveling away from your home and you might be settling down in a hostel, so you are your own time manager, right? So be a little bit more organized. You can, make a schedule. I know these all sounds very fancy, and this all sounds, very idealistic of, forming a calendar and all. But this is your time. If you try and do it right now, it might be not really difficult for you, and this might become a habit for you. It's really going to be very helpful. Trust me, after 15 years of my life, that I think is that how I have, wasted my time in college. If I would have been having a calendar, things would have been really better. Third is, your parents might not be there next to you taking care of yourself. So be your own police in the terms of how you sleep, how you eat, and how you attend your classes. Be very careful about it. Next is, if you are a shy person, my suggestion to you is, try and, work over it. You have ample of time in your hand. Be a little bit more assertive. Be a little give voice to your emotions. Speak to people. Tell people how do you feel. It's completely fine. You are the junior most in the college. Take this opportunity, because you might not be the junior most in the college ever after that, right? You are entering in a college with a tag juniors, right? So you are expected to do a little bit of, here and there, small errors. So completely fine. Make the best use of it. Next is, don't delay things. That right now, let me just watch another series of Netflix. I will do something, my assignment later on. Don't do this. Start and, uh, being just move according to the timetable. Okay, so my next suggestion, next tip to you is learn how to budget. You might, having a pocket money which you have to take care of it. So no need to spend the entire money only into studies. There should be, some, budget kept for the leisures and movies and stuff like that. But the best thing is make a whole budget for that and work accordingly so that you don't have to, worry about paying the bills and stuff later on. The next thing is, this is the major tip that I would like to give you is, if you feel that I'm not able to do certain things, start accepting it. Start accepting it that yes, I'm not able to do, that's fine, I'll work over it. And even better if you can accept this thing publicly, right? If you can talk about it that this is my problem and I would like somebody to work over it, there is no harm in taking help from anybody. That is completely fine. We are all humans and we are not expected to be perfect in everything. So go ahead, take help from your teachers, from your professors, from your colleagues, anybody. And then the next one is uh, when you will be entering the college, you will undergo a kind of orientation after those drilling process of registration. So in the orientation you will be told about the college infra, the all the methods of the college, some of the rules of the college. What you have to do is make the best use of it. Don't try and miss that orientation, because if you miss the orientation you are going to face
Mr. Harshit Gujjar, I would request you to kindly put your audio on mute. Rohit, can you put
Mr. Harshit Gurjar. Mr. Harshit Gurjar.
Okay, so with this we come to the next important thing is build your brand. So when I say build your brand, it comprises of everything about how do I look, how do I present myself, how do I talk, what kind of presence am I having on social media, everything. So if I talk about myself, like taking myself into big spotlight over here, I have a social media presence. I'm there on Facebook, LinkedIn, Insta, everywhere. Also, I have some credentials which I hold with myself when I go anywhere. I have I claim that whatever I am there in front of you right now, I am in the similar way when you go and check me on my social media. So my suggestion to you is, when you're talking about branding yourself, also do take care of your social media presence, that it should be matching, it should be real about how you are in your day-to-day life. So it's a time to discover the new you. And this is a major segment of my webinar now. So be very careful about how to discover yourself, right? So my first suggestion to you is, before seeing the whole journey how to do this, just after the webinar, spend 15 minutes of your life with yourself, closing everything, closing your phone, closing your all the social media connection, then spend those 15 times with yourself. This is not only for the students who are entering the college, this is for everyone. And try and make a metrics in your mind about what I am good at and what I am bad at, and try and struggle and learn about yourself. Spend time with you and try and understand that if you think that I am good at dancing, okay, let me just see that how can be a little bit better in dancing, and how do I project this thing to the entire world about my dancing skills. If you think I'm not good at speaking, then how do I improve this speaking? So try and spend time with yourself and try and understand yourself, that where do I stand and how do I picturize myself in the front of the world. See, now the world is all about showcasing yourself. How do you showcase yourself in the world? So it's all about, first you should understand that who I am, what my identity is, before presenting yourself to the world. So the very important topic, I'm sure people who are entering the college, they are all thinking that first day what should I wear, since the malls are all closed, how do I go and buy new stuff for me? So I suggest, yes, why not give time to that. Think before you dress up yourself and enter the college. but ensure that clothing should only be your power partner, and you should not be like entering into too much of fashion domain, just forgetting that build yourself and cover yourself or wrap yourself in something which you're not comfortable in. So whatever you dress up like it's something which gives you confidence and it makes you a little bit more powerful. In our corporate world, we call it an executive presence, that whenever somebody is entering the room or the office, we always see themselves with on the basis of three things. First is what are you wearing, and how do you carry yourself. But how do you look, that is just the 5% of thing. How do you communicate with your people, that is the 28% of the entire executive presence. And the major thing is that how do I act means, suppose if I have to drink water, I just go and I'm drinking water. That is not right. You have to even if nobody is looking at you, then also you have to ensure that you are maintaining your proper hygiene and your etiquettes, because you never know who is because everybody is having a phone in their hand. People, they make videos, something goes viral or something. So what you have to do is you have to ensure about your executive presence, about how you are communicating, how you are acting, and of course how you're wearing. We cannot because it holds as a 5%, we cannot just push it as a 0%. Be very particular about what you are presenting and what you are taking to the table when you enter the college. It is not just limited to your dress, but also how do you talk to people. Are you open to talk to people? Be ready to save a lot of phone numbers when you enter the college, because you might be making a lot of friends. You might, don't be a shy person, be open. If you are sharing your phone number with people and you are entitling them to enter your WhatsApp, be sure about what display image you are having on your WhatsApp. So you have to keep all these things in your mind, because it's not about showcasing yourself a person which you don't want to be. It's about how we make it a lifestyle, the way you are in your home, the way you are outside. So we just try and imbibe all this in yourself. So this is about how you identify yourself. So there are few factors in which how do we identify people when they enter your come into close vicinity. First thing is a very very firm handshake. That some people, they just come and they just touch your hand. It's not a good etiquette when we talk about in the present scenario. Handshake should be a really firm one. It should say, yes, I acknowledge your presence over here and talking to me. It depicts a lot of confidence. The second thing is, of course, how you dress up, about how you present yourself. It doesn't mean to be a very fashionable dress. Whatever you are whatever you are wearing, it should be nicely ironed and presented. It should not be having any kind of stains or anything. That's it, you're good to go. The third thing is your credentials, of course. If you're not getting a good mark, if you're not coming up with a lot of good marks and all, it's completely fine. Whatever you have, you might be having some story behind it, that I was not able to top my school because of so and so reason. That is completely fine. Even if you are an average student, it's completely fine. Or in companies, your even if you are in a top position, doesn't mean you come with a very good academic record throughout your life. People who are topping the industry, they are sometimes college dropouts as well. So it's completely fine. The theory of acceptance that I told before is also applicable over here, that I accept the way I am. Okay, I am a 50% average student. That's completely fine. Accept it with whole honor yourself. Try and give respect yourself. The next thing is, how do you speak? Your words and everything. If you feel that your speech is not really clear, this is a time for you. Look into the mirror, speak, read a lot of newspapers. And also, I'll talk about the language over here. If you think you're not very confident in English language, it's not a problem. You are, if you are fine in Hindi language or any other language, any other regional language, if you're having command on any language, work over it and be perfect in that. English language is only one language among thousands of other languages. It's always a good thing if you can work over it. And because we cannot deny the fact, because when we enter the corporate world, it's a global language and it is globally accepted. So try and work over it. But whatever you speak, make sure that you speak with whole impact. The next thing is how you face other people. So if I am facing you, am I looking into your eye, or I'm just seeing here or there? This doesn't take any kind of confidence. The main thing which gives confidence is that I look into the eye. When I am present, I should be 100% present in the moment. Or the major thing that we see is when I talk to my nephew or something, they are always busy in their phone or something. Does this sound good? It doesn't sound good. Keep your phone aside when you're talking to someone. So that is another factor which builds up your brand. The next thing is, we spoke about a firm handshake, we spoke about the dress, we spoke about the credentials, we also spoke about how do you face yourself. So do you think is this all enough when we talk about personal branding? It is definitely.
Miss Shreya, Miss Shreya, Miss Shreya, you are requested to immediately mute your microphone. Miss Rupa Sharma also. Sorry, Miss Rati, you can proceed.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, so I was saying that all these factors, these are not enough when we talk about personal branding. It also holds how do you stand out from the crowd, among 100 students. How are you the only one who is different from these 100 students? The second thing is, how are you leaving impact? In on the first day of your college, there will be multiple professors who will be coming and visiting you. There will be multiple seniors who will be coming and visiting you. How do you leave an impact? How do you ensure that they remember you? So this takes you in the next segment of my seminar, that how do, when we talk about the complete personal branding, in spite of having all this in place, a firm handshake, the way you dress up, the way you talk, how do you leave impact on the people who are visiting you? The first thing is your presence. Your presence and your absence both should be known in the classroom. Not only in the classroom, but also if you are in your seminars or anything else. It doesn't mean that you raise up your hand and ask some stupid query. It means that sometimes the eye contact does it all. The eye contact with your teachers or with your professors, they say it all, that yes, I am understanding. Or if you have a problem, just stand up and just ask the problem. So your presence should be known in the class, such a way that if you are not in the class, your teacher should be able to, okay, today so and so is not present in the class. So make your presence known. You carry a lot of stuff when you enter the college or the classroom or any room. Be sure about what you are taking with yourself in the room. Again, I would like to repeat that I was talking about that what have you brought to the table. So here everything takes count. Your culture, your morale, your ethics, everything what you're bringing in, everything is presented when you enter any room, be it a classroom or a college. So next thing, building a social media presence. So if you have some of the already, you must be, I'm sure you already have accounts on Facebook, LinkedIn and stuff. So go and recheck that whether it is all presentable, because you might be having a lot of new friends who will be connecting with you, and you do not want to embarrass yourself something which you are being tagged by any other friend, or you have posted because of some reason. So go and recheck on your social media and just rectify it. Also at the same time, I would also like to tell, since I'm talking too much about social media presence, that do not have a fake picture on social media. Okay, because it's very easy to understand that who is fake on social media, because somebody might come and say, अरे यार तुम photos में तो बड़े सुंदर लगते हो, but in reality you doesn't look like that. So just stop using those filters and be yourself. So be different, but be yourself, be real. That's the whole mantra of the personal branding. The next step is, I don't know if you are on LinkedIn or not, but if you are not, please go ahead today itself after the webinar and ensure that you create an account on LinkedIn. It's a very, very highly recommended social media platform, because you are entering your college life and you will be looked upon, because whenever, when we talk to people, I do not send my resume out to people. I just, send a link that this is my LinkedIn profile, you can go and check what all I'm doing. Even if I'm giving a webinar over it, this thing I will be talking about this thing on my LinkedIn. So everything I want people to know about, I go and post on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn becomes the, whole one place where you can't just keep on updating your resume and sharing your resume. So this becomes a cloud platform where everything is going and saving. So my first and my very important tip to you all, please go and account on LinkedIn. If you want to check how other people are building their brand on LinkedIn. You get a lot of business from LinkedIn. So try and do this thing. The next thing is, since we will be entering into the college, and you will be meeting a lot of people, and you will be networking a lot. Try and connect with those people, and retain these kind of connections, because the best thing is, the connections that you have today, they might be very fruitful in future. Because if I take an example, a small example, I don't know if you watch Kapil Sharma show. There is this another person, I don't know his real name, his name is Chandu. They tell the story that they were in school together. So how one friend who gained this celebrity life has helped his another friend from school, because he has never built, he has not ever burned the bridges, and they are all together today. I never know that I can be helpful to my colleagues, and I can also take help from other colleagues. So you have to be very what we say, open, and to network with people. If you are a shy person and you really don't want to people to peep into your personal life, keep them away from your social media, and build another profile. But my foremost suggestion to you is that have a presence and connect with people, network
जी मुझे किराए पे समझ गया
people. You never know which person is going to be helpful for you in future. So also we have to understand that college is a marathon and not a sprint. Like it's a significant transition when we talk about your academic, your social, and your personal level. The way you are entering your college, you won't be exiting from the college in the same way. You will be revamped in every aspect of yourself. You will be having a degree in hand, or a diploma, whatever you choose. You will be
All right. The session has been really interesting and intriguing till now, and the same we are expecting in the next half also. Meanwhile, while Ms. Rati Agarwal is taking a break, Ms. Roli Vadhava is requested to kindly give a glimpse of our institute to all the participants here.
Yeah, sure. I'll be doing that.
DME was established as an institution for the entire community to come together and excel. We have students who come and learn in a very good facility. We have faculty who are not just well qualified and competent, but are also constantly motivated to teach their best and also pursue research. For well-wishers to come here, for intellectuals to have a place here and contribute in this mission of providing the best education to the young minds in all the courses that we offer, law, media, and management. In making this happen, as the management, we are constantly trying to improve our facilities. Our infrastructure is international in nature. We have tried to bring together all the relevant stakeholders to participate in this mission. We've tried to ensure that the workings and processes of this institute are fundamentally sound. It It is our hope that those who have the desire to succeed find a place over here and pursue this goal of excellence. We motivate all of them in achieving this task. If you're associated with DME or wish to get associated, then I welcome you all over here and I wish you all the best.
Delhi Metropolitan Education is a young college. We are 6 years old. We were established in 2013, but during these 6 years we have established our own parameters, and this college was ranked among the top 25 law colleges in India. Well, the management school also was ranked as 4th among the upcoming business schools. We work on a model in this college, and that model is say the KSA model. We work on the knowledge enhancement of the student, we work on the skill enhancement, and we work on the attitude enhancement. And our model says that if a student has got the appropriate knowledge, skills, and attitude, corporates are waiting for you. The whole world is waiting for you. So, as far as enhancing knowledge is concerned, we have a battery of excellent teachers. We have an excellent library with a lot of online journals and books. We have classrooms whereby we deliver through the technological mode. We have ERP systems. So this is the knowledge enhancement part. Coming to the skill enhancement parts, we have industrial visits, we have workshops, conferences, seminars, film festivals, judges coming to the campus. So all this enhances the skill level of the students. And as far as attitude is concerned, we work on that so that a student is corporate ready. Means the corporate needs people who are ready to deliver. So we have to work on the attitude of the students as well. And having worked on the knowledge, skill and attitude parameters, we ensure that at the end of the course, the student is having a job offer in hand. This is the DME model.
First impression that comes to our mind about any college: tall buildings, big classrooms, large lobby areas, thick books, IT labs, assignments, class tests and projects, nothing besides that. Every hour, minute, second spent here help us carving and shaping our persona, cultivating innovative mindsets for the challenging world. Learning is a lifelong process. Sharing knowledge, inculcating values of life, spark the innovative horizons of mind. Fun and frolic is the nature of every nook and corner here. A daily dose of thrill we are sure to get here.
Miss Rati Agarwal has joined back.
Okay, so we are starting
Welcome
again.
back, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you.
Before we begin, let me just request all the participants to have a decent photograph and put all your videos and audios on mute.
Yeah, and for any kind of personal question, I would like if you can just put it on everyone, so that if you have a question, let everybody read the question. So, in the duration, before going to financial aid, I just went through a few of the questions which was raised was.
Ma'am, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I will just take a minute in between.
Yeah, sure.
Mr. Arvind Vijay, you are requested either to switch off your video or have a proper display pic. It is a sincere request to all the participants that once you are in a video meeting or a video webinar, you are required to have a decent display pic or at least a proper positioning. If somebody is not properly dressed, it is becoming actually embarrassing for the other participants. We will be forced to remove you from this webinar. We have already removed Ms. Shreya. Now we will be forced to remove Mr. Arvind Vijay also, if you do not understand that there is a certain basic decency of every webinar. I'm sorry for this, but we are forced to say this. Thank you. Ms. Rati, please continue.
Thank you, Dr. Swati. So yeah, it's very surprising that we are all talking about personality development, and then we have people like this. So I would be really happy if you can take at least something from my webinar. That also, I haven't included this about the etiquettes, how you present yourself, or in the webinar itself. So please have a decent picture, and the way you are sitting, what is there around your surroundings. Be very careful about that. Well, I was also talking about the question which was there. So somebody also wrote that if they do not have the privilege of having a social media presence, then what do that? What do they have to do? So my answer to you is it's completely fine of not having a social media presence. It's okay because everybody doesn't come with whole stories along with themselves. Whatever, then be also sure about what you're presenting to the class. I think that should be more than enough for you. The way you're presenting, the way you're communicating, everything. Having a social media presence is always optional and not a compulsion. Please, I'm repeating this thing. Having a social media presence is always optional and not compulsion. It definitely helps you out to network a little bit more, but it doesn't mean that you have to have a social media presence. But yeah, when we are seeking for jobs and all, at that time this helps a lot, because if I'm interviewing somebody to be in my team, I definitely go to their LinkedIn account to check how they are presenting themselves. So this is just a suggestion. Moving ahead with the financial aids, there are a lot of programs of I earn while you learn by the government of India, and a lot of other private institutions are there which are helping students in earning while they learn. So I'll tell you about companies like Mindtech, IBM. What they do is they give you certain projects in your field, you work over it, and you can earn by working for them. And this doesn't violate any of the rules of your college also. You talk about this thing to your professor, they will definitely help you, and you can earn in the duration of your learning. The second program is the second thing is, if you can think about a startup, that doesn't mean that you keep your studies at a stake and you think about what you can build a company. Whatever you are doing, that can be your startup. For example, I love writing, so it becomes my startup because I can do blogging, or I can sell content of my own. So similarly, your hobby can be your startup as well. If you can think about it from the day one, then definitely by the end of the fourth year, because one thing I will tell you, that the amount of network, easy network you're having right now, it becomes very difficult once you're out of your college. Because if I have to talk to any of my college mates right now, then I have to search for LinkedIn, get the phone number and connect with them. But right now you have the best of the network right now. So if you're thinking about building anything, you have everything already there in your plate. The next thing is blogging and YouTube. They can be another source of income. For example, I can give you an idea right now for YouTube. If you will be searching about have the first day of college, there are a lot of videos on YouTube, but you will not get any video on by an Indian talking about any particular college. So you can think about this as an idea and start taking videos and make a video on about first day in college, and your whole 4 years journey or 3 years journey can be depicted by small videos. So you can release a video every month about how did I change myself in my college in this 1 month. So this becomes a benchmark for many other students who will be entering the college, and it will be very helpful for them. So by this you can get a lot of followers, and at the end you definitely financial aid. The next is the scholarship programs. The colleges itself and many other government entities, they offer a lot of scholarship programs. The problem is that we do not have the awareness. So there are certain programs that are applicable to you all right now. You can just have a look at this. Also there are a lot of companies who offer a lot of scholarship programs, so just keep a check on that, be aware. And there is a myth that only people who are coming from a not a strong economic background, only they will be which are also testing you at a particular time, and then you are given a scholarship accordingly. So just try and check that as well. The next is internship. You get a stipend when you do internships, so that can be again kind of help for you. And the projects, of course, you do a lot of projects in your duration of college. Just think about your project not just like any other subject. Think how you can convert your project, which I thought is very important for you, because while entering college we do not think about all this, but yeah, it's very important for you all to know it right now. So the thing is, it's very important to be a inspiration model for the rest of your classmates. And it doesn't matter if you're coming with very strong credentials and a very strong background, very big school brand. Anybody can take up the lead and be the inspirational model for the rest of the people. With this, we come to the next portion of the presentation, that is companion. So companions and competitions, they go hand in hand. One thing I would like to tell you is that every person who is sitting next to you or your closest of your friend, when any company comes for placement, everybody is in a competition. So be very careful about how you are grasping what all you can learn, not only from your professors and from the internet. And there are a lot of things that people, they teach you without actually telling that I'm teaching you. So try and take up all the good things about people who are sitting next to you. They are all full of segments. I spoke to a lot of hostelers and the day scholars that how does your whole stage and whole life changes when we talk about companions, because this one factor, companions, is the biggest factor which which attracts you and distracts you at the same time when we enter college life. And this becomes a very important part of the college, because companion. So after communicating with these many, with a lot of students, I have understood that this all thing goes into 4 stages. And what I am going to tell you, I am sure that you will thank me later that I have brought this. So the culture shock and the transition. So when we enter the college, what happened that all the students are coming with a different culture and a different way college. because you know, there is Am I audible?
Yes.
I'm sorry for the network issue. So what we do silently is, I was talking about, when we enter the college, we are in the, the excitement feelings where we have a lot of expectations from people. And what do we do silently is, we look for the similarities of people in people. Like, you will silently have a look of the people, of the companions who have entered with you in the college, and you will silently, build stories in your mind that this is, maybe she can be my friend in future, maybe he can be my friend in future. So we look for similarities. It happens with 83% of the people, according to the study that we have done. 83% of the people, they look for the similarity, not only in the college. Whenever we enter in a mall or anything, a public place where there are a lot of people, we see, okay, this person looks similar to me. Doesn't mean that in the way you are, dress up, that way similar, but also you have that, vibe, that positive vibe from people, that you look up for the similarities. The stage number two is, as time passes, from first year, go to second year, the similarities that you were looking on, they suddenly become the differences. Now I will also tell you that why do we look up to these differences. We look up to the differences is because we feel that we are not now more confident in the college. We know, a lot about the college, and we also know the other options about, if he is not my friend, then that person can be my friend, and stuff like that. We are, having a lot of feelings in our mind. We feel, also we have the feeling of anxiousness, homesick, we are confused, there is a lot of fatigue, inadequateness, and also there is a hell lot of confidence in us when we, pass from similarities to differences. So there is a kind of irritation and frustration in people, which happens natural, and it's completely fine. Do not, take that far going for a oh God, these people, they are making so much of making so sound.
There are some network issues. I request all the participants to please be patient.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. You're audible now.
There was some network error, I think. Am I audible now?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So I'm sorry about that. So we were at the stage 2, that how the similarities turn to differences as you become comfortable, and then you gradually adjust when it comes to stage 3, because we become more competent and we start adjusting, because we think that we know the person who is with us. Also, the people who will be staying in the hostel, be very clear about few things, that how do you want things, because it's very good to speak about your expectations in the starting, then waiting for the end, or waiting for the moment to come where you have to speak up to your partner or your roommate. The stage 4 is the stage of adaptation. Now this whole feelings, they come to an stage of enjoyment by the last year of your college. What will happen is you will start adjusting but this living is, we are living with all these people. Everything should end on a very sweet note, because you never know that whom you will need in future. Present suggestion on the note of that prepare yourself very well when you have selected a college. Ensure that you know about the college. Nowadays internet is there, you can go on internet, check about that college, you can talk to your seniors, connect with them, in various ways you can connect with them. Then the third thing is also know the surroundings of the college. That doesn't, even if you're a day scholar, ensure that you should know that where my college is located and what are the best things around my college. You should know about the maps also. So do not go unprepared. Always have some few of the things which you might need in the college. Carry your money, carry all the stuff which is necessary. Check that whether you are allowed to take up your mobile phones with you or not. So be prepared when you enter the college. The problem today is that in the world that you are facing some big problem which nobody else is facing, and that is of the coronavirus. We all are facing coronavirus, but for you the problem is you are facing this problem when you are in your transit and you are entering the most important phase of your life. So, but not a problem. You're not in this alone. We are all in this together. So face this with grace, because all those companions which are entering the college, they're all facing this problem equally. The question is that since this challenge is thrown to you, how you can, face this challenge in a better way. So we are all witnessing a transformation in education, because we are moving from the face-to-face interactions to the interaction when we are looking into the camera. It's completely fine. The thing is, let us all face this revolution together. Also, this is a very good book, and if you can just have a look at the book, that what has got you here will not get you there. The way you were staying and you were living in your life, living your life as a school, in the school, will not be same when you are in the college. Be sure about it. Just check on a lot of things which the college brings with itself. Know about it, prepare yourself accordingly. And that's it from my side. I also do classes on how to earn while you learn, campus to corporate, social media presence, and how to break the stereotypes. Yeah, that's it from my side. Parul, all up to you now. I'm open to take up any questions if you're having.
Yeah, ma'am, we have received a few questions, some of which have actually been answered by you. Let me just ask one. The first one, it was, why is it important to have an online presence?
Okay, as I told you, already covered that it's not important to have an online presence. It's not a mandatory thing, but it is always good to have an online presence, because see, the way we entered in our school, in our colleges, we were not having anything about social media or something, but now people are having. And if you're having, you can definitely have an edge over others by having a good social media presence. You can make the best use of it. That's it. So it's not a mandatory thing, but yeah, it's always advisable to have a good presence. If you want, you can keep the limited things on social media, but why to cut down all the things where people can network with? That's a suggestion.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. And one of the participants has pointed out that, let me just use the exact verbatim. I really liked the few things where you said that how important it is to use college resources properly, and how internship can give you a new opportunity to your future. And some of the questions of this participant is, I think a person should not be judged by his or her appearance or clothing. Kindly comment. This is
Yeah,
what.
definitely. So I already told that it is just 5%, of your appearance, that the way you are carrying yourself, what you're wearing and how you talk. The major thing is the act of solemnity that we take, and the way we talk to people, that comprises of the remaining percent. So it do adds, because because in the college life, we get too much inspired by the people who are wearing good flashy clothes and all. Definitely it's not at all it's wrong that you should not be judged, but then we cannot deny the fact that they do leave an impression on others when we enter a college, a class, or a room. So you have to be careful about that. And I really agree with you that we should not be judging people on how they are presenting themselves, but we cannot help it, we cannot deny the fact. That's what I can say.
Yes, and it was very, very rightly put by you earlier that it is not a compulsion to have a social media presence, But if at all it is there, then it should not be misleading.
Yes.
This is what you've told all of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And this brings down to her next question, which has actually been answered, but I would still ask it. Isn't it very elite concept of building a social media profile? I think everyone is not that privileged. What can be the alternative if one doesn't have or want to build a profile on social media?
So yeah, that's completely fine. What you can do is you can have a brand, something which is not with your name. If you want to hide your name from the social media, for example, if I as a mother want to have a social media presence, I can put it with some other name and talk about stories about a journey of a mom with a child. Or if I as a student want to talk about the journey of a student on the social media without naming myself, I can put it as an anonymous or use clip arts to talk about it. So again, I'm telling it is not mandatory to have a social media presence. It is good to have a social media presence. And also, like if today we talk about that we are connecting through a webinar, you can say that I don't want to have a Zoom ID. Then how do you connect with people? So it only gives you another way to connect with people, another way to network with people. And if you don't want to have a social media presence, the other alternative is you can have you cannot refrain yourself from using internet at all. You can have blogs or something, and you can leave email ID where people can connect you, but you will have to leave something where you can ask people to connect with you. How do you connect and how much you want to bring your private life in front of you, that is completely down to you. But yeah, having a presence on social media is nowadays a thing right now. And otherwise, if we are having a normal college life, you can avoid being on social media if this coronavirus things are settled. You will meet the people and stuff like that. We have actually dwelled without a social media. Frankly speaking, I built my Facebook profile only after coming out of my college. So we have lived without social media, and it was not at all a problem nowadays. But the thing is that your fellow companions are coming with this. So I do not want that you should, feel a little bit less because of some reason. So yeah, that's it.
Yes, very rightly put, ma'am. If I conclude your answer, it would be a social media presence is actually the need of the hour.
Yeah.
That is what it is. And we all must be there to, not miss on to things that are very important today. One of the questions is how to earn while learning.
Yeah, so that is another session that you can connect with me. So there are a lot of programs already online. You can search for them. And, I also talked about learning while you earn. Either you enroll yourself in these programs, which are, there in place by government and by a lot of companies. If we talk about HP, even in fact, Capgemini, in my company, IBM, a lot of companies are offering these kind of programs. Also, government is offering these kind of programs. So I would really appreciate if you can join me in a seminar. I'll be talking about it. You can connect me on social media, and you can connect with me over there. Otherwise, you enroll yourself in those programs, or you can start with YouTubing, blogging, or if you are good at some product or something, you can have an e-com industry. You can work on an e-com industry. Suppose somebody is very good at craft, you have a page on Facebook over that craft, and give links people how they can buy stuff. So it's not necessarily that by projects and by education only you can learn, you can earn. There are people, because I know people who have done who have done their engineering from IIT. They are earning really good by being a chai wala or a grocery person. So that's completely fine with what kind of talent you have. The thing need of the hour is also to understand what talent I have and how I can turn that talent into a financial model.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. One of the questions from a confused teenager, I would say, we all have been at that state, and some stay there for long, some do not stay there for long. But this question has popped up in all of our heads when we were of this age. So this question is that students are not able to decide what they want to do, and even if they decide, then a lot of suggestions come from each direction. So, and in between all that, they meet a lot of people who suggest a lot of things. Uh, to tell them what to do, what not to do. Can you suggest something about it? How to actually decide upon and keep a focus on things? Rati ma'am, am I audible to you? Ma'am, I think we're not able to hear you. Are you able to hear me?
I think some network issue at ma'am's end.
Yeah. Let me see if she can join back. Otherwise, we will wind up.
Ma'am, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, ma'am, we can.
Okay, so yeah, where were we? Just a second.
We were at this question, basically how to deal with distractions and how to decide and focus on one thing. How to deal with this.
Yeah, so I'll take this question. So see, first of all, I also told in my seminar that the grass is greener on the other side. It's always there. Even if I'm selecting a company now, I always feel with that whether it was a good decision to select this particular company while I'm switching my jobs. So this thing always remains there. So it's completely fine. It's natural, first of all. Second thing is, I'm sure at this stage of time, all our cousins, all our senior friends, they come up with a lot of suggestions. And this also adds up to our confusion. So what my suggestion is, take a pen and a paper. Whatever options you are having, put all the options and just make a line. And in the column, write the pros and cons of each of the things. And take just work a little bit more statistical without, before taking any decision, so that you are sure. And whenever in doubt, like suppose you have chosen a college and then after 3 or 4 days you felt like, yaar, ye kyun select kar liya? I would have selected something else. You go back to that paper in which you have written and you just go back and check that these were the reasons that I have selected this particular, college or whatever subject. And trust me, let me tell you one thing, that selecting a subject in your high school was the most difficult thing in your entire life, and you have already done that. So be sure about it, that that was the most difficult thing. You have already passed that time. Now whatever is coming, it's little less difficult, so it's completely fine. Yes.
So students, you've already crossed the biggest hurdle. So there are small hurdles which I'm sure you all would be able to cross. With this, we would end with the question answer session also. Let me just see if there is. Okay, ma'am, I'm sorry to wind up the question answer session. There is one more very important question. Being a faculty, I think I should ask that. One of our faculty members has asked this. How should we encourage students to participate in college activities who are too shy?
Okay, so I told you to be assertive and be open. And if they are shy, we can definitely, encourage students by, opening the platform for them where they don't have to actually face the audience or something. Everybody comes with a different kind of talent. If I am not happy with, facing in front of a large audience, I might be very good at writing. I might be very good at some craft work. I might be very good at something in which I don't have to actually face people. So I always, say that it's very important to give people their space. It's not at all, mandatory for it's not everybody's cup of tea, and then also they're earning really good. So completely fine. We have to understand, have a one-to-one counseling with these kind of students and understand what is that they like. If they like writing, maybe drawing something, maybe, building some craft, give them a platform of that sort and, let them show their talent. It definitely builds up the confidence.
Thank you so much, ma'am. With this, we end with the question answer round, and we would soon be winding up the webinar also. On behalf of Delhi Metropolitan Education, I extend a very hearty vote of thanks to Ms. Rati for such an interesting, intriguing, and engaging session like the previous one. I am sure all of us have gained a lot from this session, especially the students. I would like to thank the honorable participants who blessed us with their presence. Last but not the least, webinars cannot happen overnight. The wheels start rolling weeks before. It requires planning and a bird's eye for details. For this, I would like to thank the webinar team comprising of Dr. Swati Jain, Dr. Purva Ranjan, Ms. Roli Wadhwa, and myself for making this webinar possible. Before we leave, kindly check your chat window. A link of feedback form has been shared by Ms. Roli. Kindly open it and fill the feedback form of this session. Once again, I thank you all. You have all been a lovely audience. And continue attending our webinars in the future as well. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, everyone. I'll also, leave the meeting now.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Okay.
All right, participants, before you leave, please fill the feedback form. Copy the link, and then you may fill it later also if you desire, but it is suggested to fill it now only.